You've got empty benches, off-ice controversy, games ending twice, and goalies are scoring goals. The NHL got really weird in Week 8, so let's review everything that happened this past week. The week started off in pure chaos with both Tkachuk brothers right in the middle of things. You got Matthew telling Brady that he's going after Sanderson and Stützle, and then you got Brady responding with him saying that he'll go after Barkov. The whole situation was out of hand. Emotions rose at the end of the second, and it bled into the third as both the Panthers and Senators combined for 167 penalty minutes, including a line brawl where all 10 skaters involved received a 10-minute misconduct. Paul Maurice was counting how many bodies he had left for the game, and the benches looked like an 11 p.m. beer league game on a Monday night. Panthers made easy work of the Sens, winning 5-0, but they were involved in more controversy the next game against the Toronto Maple Leafs. A tight contest between the Leafs and the Panthers saw the game go into a shootout, and after a nifty Evan Rodriguez shootout goal, the game was seemingly over and the Panthers had won. Except, hold the phone. After half the suits of Scotiabank cleared out and most of the players went into the dressing room, it was determined after review that the puck was double tapped on the way in. Therefore, we had no goal. So the game is back on, Leafs score on their attempt, Florida misses on theirs, and Paul Maurice isn't happy with the loss after thinking that he just won moments prior. In one night, Leaf fans cancelled and rescheduled the Cup parade after this win. Despite things being somewhat positive this week in Leafland, they still only have 5 regulation wins in 22 games played this season. Now, as if this season hasn't been already bizarre, Penguins goaltender Tristan Jarry added on to the madness with a goalie goal. That's the first one in Penguins history, and to add on to the impressive night, he stopped 39 shots to beat the Lightning 4-2. Speaking of the Lightning, remember when I said last week that you should be scared of the Lightning because they had Andrei Vasilevskiy back? Well, I was completely wrong, because since then, they've gone on to lose 4 in a row, including an 8-1 beatdown from the Dallas Stars. After letting in 6, the Lightning wanted to pull Vasilevskiy, and you can see Kucherov here inquiring about whether or not Vasilevskiy would be interested in that. And he's just basically telling him, nope, I'm not coming out, it's not happening. So Vasilevskiy stayed into the game until the start of the third period. Despite the brilliance of Nikita Kucherov this season, the Lightning just haven't seemed to have found that groove. I still think they'll make the playoffs because it's hard to count out that core and Andrei Vasilevskiy, but right now they are riding the struggle bus big time. Now, perhaps the biggest story of this week was the Corey Perry situation, where the Blackhawks terminated Perry's contract for unacceptable conduct. Perry also put out a statement saying that he was seeking help for his struggles with alcohol. The entire situation is a weird mess for all parties, especially for Connor Bedard and his family. There was a lot of crazy rumors that circulated this past week, and you can only imagine how hard that could be on an 18-year-old kid with all eyes on him in his rookie year. That type of stuff would be taxing on a veteran player, let alone a kid who's supposed to be the next Sidney Crosby. Hopefully the Blackhawks and the people around Bedard can provide him with the right support so that he doesn't get completely overwhelmed and burnt out before the season ends. In general, it was a weird week to be a Hawks fan, but seeing Patrick Kane in a Red Wings uniform must have just felt flat out wrong. A lot of people in the hockey world have wrote off Patrick Kane, and understandably so. Kane's 35 years old, he had a brutal season the year before, he's fresh off a hip resurfacing surgery, which almost always spells the end for players who receive it. But with that being said, if Kane can be 75% of the player he once was, this can be a great deal for the Red Wings. It's a big mystery whether or not that will actually happen, but for now, the Red Wings should start getting everyone's attention. The Yzer plan is slowly coming together, and it looks like they're going to be right in the mix for the playoffs this season. You will also be shocked to know that this week, almost everyone is unhappy with NHL officiating. Surprising, I know, right? But Coach Mike Sullivan of the Penguins lost his mind after a loss in OT against the Preds, after they scored just seconds into OT off of what could have been called an interference. Sullivan was giving it to the refs, the Penguins bench can't believe it, and it's just another case in an NHL game where fans look to the refs and ask, what the hell were they even looking at? Jack Hughes also got some airtime telling the refs to do their fucking job, and that's because he saw his brother get absolutely rocked on this play by Garnett Hathaway. Now this hit stirred up a lot of conversation for two reasons. First, it brought more attention to the poor officiating that caused this injury, as Luke Hughes believes that this is going to be whistled down for an icing. Hughes lets up for a split second, anticipating that the whistle will come. It never ends up coming, and Hathaway plays until the whistle is actually blown, and so it led to a big hit from Garnett Hathaway. Now to double down on the brutal officiating, they gave Hathaway a 5-minute major for boarding, so he and the Flyers were punished due to the referee's mistake. Now, the other reason this sparked conversation is because of John Tortorella's comments about players not knowing how to take hits. Tortorella thinks that the game is starting to turn into the no-hit league, and players have lost the art of knowing how to take and receive a hit. And really, when you look at how some players go into the corners or turn their back to the play last second, you can see that Tortorella does have a point. The modern NHL is losing its ability to both give and receive a proper hit. Let us know what you think in the comments down below, but Tortorella is a polarizing coach in general. This week, he also benched forward Joel Farabee after playing only 57 seconds because he simply wasn't listening. Farabee was a good sport about it. He sat on the bench and opened and closed the doors, but these types of tactics will always stir a little bit of controversy. And while that may seem harsh, he does have the Flyers in a way better position than many people thought they were going to be heading into the season. Now, ever since this video surfaced of Connor McDavid being absolutely pissed on the bench, he has entered beast mode. He's got 13 points in his last 4 games, and the Oilers have won 4 in a row. Unfortunately, they also have a week off after they've seemingly found a little bit of a groove, but it's a really good sign for the Oilers to see McDavid play at the level he has been in the last few games. Hopefully this week off doesn't completely screw with their momentum. Now also, in case you didn't know, hockey players are fucking warriors, and defensemen like Chris Tanev prove it every game. Look at him just dive to eat this puck to the face to block a shot. Complete insanity, but that's what makes the game beautiful. Taking a look at the standings, you got Vegas, Boston, and the Rangers all jockeying for the top spot in the league, while the Sharks, Blackhawks, and Wild keep things nice and warm in the basement. Nikita Kucherov is having himself a ridiculous start and is leading the league in points with 40. Brock Besser leads the NHL in goals with 17, and Connor Bedard still holds the top spot in rookie scoring with 19 points. So, what did you think about this week in the NHL? What's one thing you did not expect so far into this season? Let us know in the comments down below, and if you want to see some of our breakdowns from earlier this week, just click on any of the videos on the screen here, and as always, if you want to see more hockey content, turn on notifications and hit that subscribe button.